All right, welcome back to NADA Day 2. And we have joining us at the Driven IQ booth, number 6943N. So come see Albert and I when you get a chance if you're on the convention floor here. So we have with us Wendy Reeves and Sean Armour. Sean is known as Canada Sean to those that are friends of his. And welcome. So we're going to talk a little bit about BDC. It's an area where I think it's a really good idea, as do a lot of forward-thinking stores. But there's a lot of questions about it, right? How do you properly staff it? How do you set it up? And how do you get the best out of it? So tell us a little bit about some best practices.
Sean, I'll let you start.
All right, great. Well, the first thing you want to do if you're thinking of creating a BDC or restructuring one, first and foremost would be to define it. What do you want your BDC to be? It could be a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but just to make sure that it is focused and it is essentially heading in the right direction, or trajectory as I like to call it. The 4 steps that I like to take with my dealer groups when I come in is basically you define it, you plan it out, you action it, and then you execute it. So, but the definition is the most important thing, because Paul, you'd be so surprised, and I'm sure Wendy, you've come across this, how many dealer groups, when I come in on my discovery call, the first thing I ever ask them, because I build it with them, right? Yep. So it's very important. Effort. It is very important for it to be
bought in, it's not going to happen.
Correct. Yep. And that's the only way to get buy-in. So the first thing you want to do is to define it. And by starting off with that question to the GM or the dealer principal, like, what is your BDC? And everything you'll need to know as a consultant will come out of that one question.
Yeah, and not only that, but and to put it the same exact thing in different words, people, and it's something I hear Sean say all the time. People try one of the reasons that a BDC fails is because they try to turn it into what it's not, instead of what it is, instead of continuing, instead of putting in a sustainable process with accountability. So for me, it's people, process, and accountability, right? And if you don't have any of that, you're going to fail. But like he says, they want to turn into what it's not. It's not doing all the dirty laundry. It's not doing admin. It's not getting coffee for the guys. It's not doing any of it.
Even though if we're in a stock room, we're in a stock room somewhere in the dealership.
And you know, and in a lot of things, it's not, there are other things that they can do, but it's all dependent upon your structure, your demographic, your size. Are you a smaller independent, which is kind of my niche? I help a lot of smaller independents that say, hey, Wendy, we need a BDC. Everybody's telling us we need a BDC. So I got these salesmen, half of them have been here for 20, 30 years, and the other guys are such green peas that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to sell appointments. And as a BDC, you have to make sure we sell appointments, not cars. Okay?
Right. Absolutely.
We drive traffic.
Yes.
For me, my hashtag on Facebook, it's all about the shows. It's all about the shows. So, I mean, you can profess to be a good BDC or even an outsourced BDC because you set tons of appointments. Who cares if they don't cross the showroom threshold? Our job is to drive traffic. Yes. Our job is to turn leads into appointments that show up at the dealership, most important, and ensure a smooth transition to the turnover to the sales department so they can do what they do best. And then after, and Sean and I may differ on this, after for sales BDC, but probably service too, after they go in the building, then the relationship has to remain with the sales department. If somebody's going to turn into a payback because you didn't close them in the initial visit, that relationship needs to stay with the sales department because they're the ones that are going to deliver the car. Right. BDC does not sell cars; they sell appointments.
Right. And then the sales department builds the relationship that's going forward.
And you have to make sure that there's a good relationship. That most importantly, the relationship that we're portraying as a BDC, what's going to happen at the dealership. You can have all the fancy tools and everything else, softwares, whatever. If you don't create a transition customer service experience that is the same when they reach the dealership as we described as a BDC, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that because there's a lot of dealer groups today. So just to really hammer home what Wendy was saying, because I have not really much more to add. That was so complete. But a fool with a tool is a fool with a tool.
Yes, I've heard that.
Right?
That's an awesome saying.
A lot of tools here today.
Now, also keep in mind that, look, a lot of stores have dabbled with the BDC. Some have been successful, some have not. when you think about bringing on somebody to help you set up a new one or consult with you about BDC, it's very important to look. You may have done things a certain way. It's important to kind of close that door, be open to listening to what these folks and other folks that are experts in the area of BDC have to say. Take that in and then try it. Don't try to fix their process, because the whole reason you're bringing in somebody is because you're having some problem with your process. It's very important to let go, be open to new ideas, and then once you've done those ideas, and that'll evolve some because it's not cookie cutter. There are
Correct.
things that change as you go. You may need more help in one area than another, but once you've mastered the kind of the new way and you're seeing success with it, then by all means we could talk about adding in maybe some of the other elements that you have had success with in the past, and then kind of tailoring that to your store, because there are no two stores that are identical. It doesn't matter the state, the country, the town, doesn't matter. Each store stands on its own merits.
Yeah,
Anything else you want to add before we close?
I want to say a really important thing. So what Paul said is super important, and that's a problem that I'm having even currently. So if you have somebody, like for example, like what I do since COVID, big thing is I don't do outsourced BDC. I do on-site launches, but when a smaller dealer or large group wants to have remote, save costs and have a remote team, then we hire the BDRs for them. We train the BDRs and we turn them over to the dealership as dealership hires and teach them how to manage remotely. So, but you can't pick a la carte items from our program that we've proven successful and expect the same results.
Yes.
Right.
You have to give it all your heart and that you have to have complete buy-in. You can't say, well, yeah, can you just train it? Or now one difference is I will absolutely train your scripts if they work. But as far as structuring, what you're doing isn't working. That's why you need us.
Correct.
So follow the plan. Give it 90 days. Don't give up after 30 days and say, where's the miracle? Or even 60 days. And forgive me, I don't mean to insult anyone or anything else. I'm just being real. And I have a reputation for this. Trust me. 60 days. You're not going to see it. Give it 90 days. Follow the program, because all the tools, all the pieces are the fingers on the hand. And they're not going to work right individually. Only together are they going to work. So do that. And that's all I have.
Yeah, and just to add to it for my part to close up, like I was mentioning before, those 4 elements in your defining process, because each one of them are surgically segmented. In your defining process, you mentioned it before, Paul, it requires commitment.
100%.
Absolutely requires commitment. Exactly like Wendy said, like anything else, it's incremental growth. It's chess, not checkers.
Right.
This is not a silver bullet. We're not coming in and then in 3 weeks, everything's going to turn around, right? So it takes a commitment. You have to trust the process, because at the end of the day, you could have all the systems, all the processes in place. What me and Wendy deal with are people, human beings. And in order to get, like in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, they talk a lot about habits, right? And to break a habit, I'm sorry, but you're not doing that in a month, right? So this is why I'm saying you got to trust the process. You got to be committed. You got to go all in, follow the definition or the processes that we set in place, and just have fun. When did we stop having fun in the car industry? We stopped having fun at some point. So trust the process is what I would say, and it's about incremental growth.
And remember what Gary Vee says. Everything always takes longer than you plan. But if you have a solid plan, stick with the process and it will work.
Absolutely.
So Wendy, Sean, thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
being
much,
on.
Paul.
Thank you.
Enjoy
It's an honor.
NADA.
Take care.